And they say that he is one of the people who was involved in that organization that had wanted to stage a multi-pronged attack at the UFC event at the White House.
Now, apparently, Marsha Blackburn who was a senator for Tennessee. She was a target in response to a question in the chat asking why to attack her. He allegedly stated she's taken money from the Israel pro-Israel lobby and supports them. These are the people we are going to focus on.
Yeah, and according to this complaint from the U.S. District Court for the Southern District of Ohio, they began planning, it says March 1st, and then they were stopped. The police were tipped, or the FBI was tipped off on the 10th, and they got these guys starting on the 11th. But his mother said it was the person who had contacted the authorities because she was concerned what was happening with her son. He had spent a lot of money from graduation on ammunition, AR-style magazines, rifles, all sorts of things, and then was going to go someplace, his father said. And his mom realized that he had, made this online, met this online group.
Right.
Ultra religious, they said, and very anti-government.
Right. The mother believes that he was being radicalized and they were using ultra Christianity to try to radicalize him. And it began with a TikTok group called the Vanguard of the Old. Members of the group believed that the United States needed to be torn down so it could be rebuilt.
Yeah, that according to the complaint. That is it for National Report. More.
Yeah, we have another one, ladies and gentlemen. We got another one. A plot to do some terrible things at UFC 250 has been thwarted. The alleged plan, throw myself on the screen. The alleged plan involved using explosive-laden drones to hit buildings near the event and force a mass evacuation and steer crowds toward a pre-staged sniper team, officials said. A second wave was then allegedly planned to storm the White House gate. Crazy. Crazy, crazy stuff. Details via federal arrest affidavit reveal that a California man named Michael Allen Thomas was one of the alleged organizers of the alleged UFC White House terror plot. Feds say he admitted he believes the U.S. government is run by elites who sacrifice and eat children, had involvement, with Jeffrey Epstein, and are protected by President Trump. Investigators took screenshots of his signal chats in which details of the plot were discussed and maps of the UFC event were shown with suggestions on where snipers should be placed. Feds also recovered rifles and ammo, sources tell colleague Dave Spunt. Those in custody are American citizens, and there's no foreign nexus believed to be at play. So here's some of the phone screenshots. It looks like wild stuff, man. Some weaponry. Wild stuff. And I talked about this in the video that I made right before the UFC event. Like, this thing being out in the open kind of scares me, because I know there's a lot of individuals in this country who are cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs and will try to take out Uncle Trump. And he's kind of vulnerable being outside like that. And lo and behold, you had some individuals planning to at least take out a few people, if not Uncle Trump himself. Wild stuff. So I'm happy it was thwarted.
This right now. The White House would not have been the target. It would have been the supporters of the president. White House has extremely great drone technology. Sometimes you'll see some of the agents with these, what looks like heavy guns, but they're to essentially jam the signal of these drones. And with them saying in the documents that the FBI has released into our newsroom, that they have a station team, which is essentially have crowds of people rush toward an area, and then those snipers hit them. That tells you those were the target of Trump supporters, the UFC crowd, that fan fest that was outside of the White House.
It drew about 80,000 people. So a lot at stake here. Thank the good Lord the FBI was able to thwart this before the event happened. We're learning about it, obviously, after the fact so that people who attended wouldn't be scared. But they uncovered this on Signal chats. Multiple people allegedly discussing this attack at the UFC event. The investigation stretched across at least 12 FBI field offices. The goal was to target capitalist elites, billionaires, politicians who received donations from the American Israel Public Affairs Committee.
Yeah, and good on Director Patel. The point you made there, Ainsley, about this stretching across 12 FBI field offices means they're one team working together. But it is a sobering morning we are waking up to this, because we have not seen, but yet long feared, to your point, Lawrence, that there would be explosive-laden drones tried to use an attack. This alleged plot was going to create this mass chaos evacuation of those 80,000 people, and they had enough people involved that this was going to be a very deadly incident. Where have we seen explosive-laden drones? In places like Ukraine, on the battlefield. The fact that it could possibly come here makes a strong case for the president and for any law enforcement official to say that we need to up this drone deterrence technology, and we need to do it fast.
Yeah, one of the things the president has advocated for is that drone port that was going to be on top of the ballroom as well, Ainsley. But I think this is an escalation. You know, you've had the assassination plots against the president, but to extend it to his supporters, that is crazy. And we're talking about the crowd of people that were there at the ellipse, because obviously everyone couldn't go to the White House, so there had to be this overflow crowd.
Yeah, and to happen on the White House grounds. How scary is that? Explosive drones to hit buildings near the event, force a massive evacuation. Imagine all those people running out of there, but steering the crowds toward a pre-staged sniper team.
Yeah. To put into context, though, how bad this situation could have been, you know, the ellipse area drew roughly 80 to 85,000 people. Multiple reports cited about 80,000 fans at the viewing area. The actual fight event on the White House South Lawn had about 4,300 seats around the Octagon. And let's not forget, we're also at peak tourist time in Washington. A lot of people come to the nation's capital in June, July, particularly around the America 250 events. So that doesn't even account for the thousands of tourists that had no ticket, couldn't get into the event. We're like, you know what, I just want to go around there because it's such a historic time. So this crowd size, the context of the damage and the chaos that would have been unleashed had this alleged plot succeeded is really remarkable.
Jonathan Turley, who lives in that area, he's a professor at the law school at GW at George Washington University. He's also a Fox News contributor, reacted to this just a few minutes ago. Listen.
This is really a cautionary tale. The fact is that the government is not the only party preparing for the July 4th celebrations. There are terrorist organizations that are drawn to the same events. This was a well set out pattern of events to maximize casualties. And we have to keep in mind that under the Biden administration, millions of unvetted people were released into this country. It would be a very dangerous delusion to believe that these terrorist organizations and countries did not use that open border to bring people inside.
Such a great point. Griff,
Yeah. Very, very scary stuff, man. You had we had an open border for 4 years, and who knows who was genuinely let into this country. And it's only a matter of time before some of these folks are activated. And how that plays out, who knows, right? Hopefully it never happens. Hopefully, miraculously, we caught all the possible terrorists and nothing ever happens. But how likely is that, right? But yeah. Scary, scary stuff, man. Once again, it's just like, bro, these leftists, I tell you, man, it's not enough for them just to lose, They have to try to kill people because they lost. It's just like, that is, first off, it's strange. Second, just because you killed somebody doesn't mean that it stops. The movement is bigger than one person, right? Even if Uncle Trump himself died, and I hope that it doesn't happen, right? I hope that it doesn't happen. I hope he, lives forever. But even if that were to happen, and MAGA doesn't go anywhere. As a matter of fact, one could argue that it would get even stronger. Okay, was he the catalyst? Sure, he was the blueprint. He started it, but it's like a snowball going down the hill at this point. There's no stopping it. It's just packing on. It's just packing. It's just getting bigger and bigger as it rolls down the hill. There's no stopping it at this point, right? And it's crazy because, especially like in a Charlie Kirk type of situation, all you had to do was prove him wrong. Prove him wrong. Killing him told everybody that you were wrong and you knew it. So that made the left look silly. That made the left lose points to the point where Democrats have a historically low approval rating. They're on track right now to lose these midterms. Now, we got to show up in the midterms and still vote. But they're on track right now to lose the midterms. And Republicans are obviously on track to win the midterms, which hasn't been done, or it has only been done 3 times in the past 100 years. We're on track to do something historic, partially in part due to stuff like this. It's crazy. All they had to do is just prove us wrong. You don't need bullets to do that. You don't need violence to do that. Prove us wrong. The problem is they can't, and they know it. So you would think that would, turn on the light bulb. Geez, if I can't prove them wrong, maybe that means that I'm wrong, But who knows? Y'all get in the comments. Let me know your thoughts and your opinions about all of this craziness. Thank goodness, we caught it, because that would have been, my goodness. And of course, Democrats on mainstream media would have blamed Trump for it. Well, because he had the event and blah, 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 blah. You know how that one would have gone. But yeah, thank goodness everybody was safe. Can we just stop with the whole terror plots and assassination attempts? We ain't got to kill each other, okay? We've disagreed with each other on who to vote for president and who to vote for in politics in general since the beginning of this country. This isn't new, okay? There's been Republican presidents, there's been Democrat presidents that have been liked, loved, or hated the entire time. This is nothing new. Stop trying to kill people. It's crazy. I'm out.